Hi, everyone. Dr. Justin Golston here. And in this video, we're going to talk about another metaverse land called Illuvium. So Illuvium is a little bit different in that it's a play and earn game. Illuvium is looking to bring in the traditional gamers into the metaverse. They're looking to bring in the traditional gamers into the Web3 space. So their approach is very interesting because they're looking to be one of the first play and earn games to provide the user experience that Web2 users get in traditional games, such as Fortnite, for example. Um, the Web3 games that are out now do not have these types of graphics, and Illuvium has made significant investments into providing that into the Web3 space. Okay, so in the first phase, what Illuvium is doing is that they're trying to create land plots where you can actually mine minerals to create an economy within the metaverse. Okay, so they had 5 different tiers of metaverse lands, and they did in a land sale, they did what they refer to as a Dutch auction. So within the Web3 space, a Dutch auction is where you'll have a starting price of a certain amount. So in the tier 1 lands, the tier 1 land started out at 2 ETH, so 2 Ethereum, and then it went down from there until each phase was sold out. Okay, you can see that the tier 2 started out at 6 ETH, and so on, where you had tier 4 starting out at 80 ETH, a lot of money. A lot of crypto, I should say. But the further you went in terms of the tiers, the more elements you would have on each site, right? So that was a strategy that a number of people were looking at whenever they were looking to invest in this metaverse land. But separate from what we've seen in the other metaverses, where you could actually build games, you could actually build homes, you could actually interact with individuals. This is more of a true game that they're built, where they actually are building out a studio. Okay, and then you can see where this is built on Unreal Engine, where TCG World had the graphics. These graphics are a little more realistic for Illuvium. So you can see that it's a game where it's like an auto battler, and then you would explore to collect certain things within these worlds. Now, one important thing is that whether you have that land where you're doing an auto battle or you're doing an exploration, the community owns those lands, right? So you can see where you can actually extract fuel, where you can sell that fuel for crypto, where you can actually exchange that crypto to your native currency, right? So that's where, so you can see where ETH and SILV2, so similar to the other metaverses that we discussed, Illuvium also has their native currencies. They also have what they refer to as alluvials, which are NFTs that once you go through Explore and you find an alluvial, an NFT, you can capture that alluvial and either battle with it or sell it for crypto, right? So and if someone finds an alluvial on your land, then that person has to give you a certain percentage because that alluvial was actually on your land, right? So that's where the metaverse. So this is a metaverse, and their metaverse approach is totally different than what we've seen with the other metaverses in the previous videos that we discussed. So I just want to go through Illuvium to kind of give you an idea that there are differences with these metaverse builds. Now, similar to what we see in OpenSea, we're going to go back to OpenSea shortly. But similar to OpenSea, there's another platform where you can actually purchase, NFTs called Immutable X. Immutable X is also a layer 2 on Ethereum. And then you can go here and you can see different NFTs, but also the Illuvium land is featured within here. Okay, so you can see that you could purchase Illuvium land. You can have the cheapest Illuvium land for $582 US. But I participated in a land sale, and you can see that I have a number of Illuvium lands that once the game is released, then I will be able to mine these resources. So each one of these dots are going to be resources that can be mined. Another interesting thing with play and earn gaming is that we refer to as the the metaverse economies, the virtual economies. Now, because I'm a busy individual, I'm not going to have time to mine these resources. So I will be able to rent out this land. I would be able to rent out the metaverse land. And then because someone will be working on this metaverse land to mine those resources, then I would give that individual a percentage. So that's another thing where, regardless of the metaverses, if you have you would be able to employ individuals in the metaverses just like you do in the real world. Okay, so that's what we talk about, where we talk about virtual economies, metaverse economies, token economies. That's why a number of individuals are very, very, very excited about the metaverse and the Web3 space. Illuvium does not own any land. All of these lands will be sold to individuals, and then it's up to the individual to decide what they do with those lands. Okay, so that is Illuvium. Again, Illuvium is a play and earn game where you would be able to mine resources, and then once people come onto your land and they capture something, if they mine something, then they would actually have to give you a percentage because you're the owner of that metaverse land. The last thing we're going to talk about in this week is how artificial intelligence is going to be integrated into the metaverse and the Web3 space. One of my favorite projects is referred to as altered state machine. So altered state machine is creating what we refer to as non-fungible intelligence, where they have AI brains. So they're going to have an NFT that's a brain, and we're going to go to it shortly. And you're going to be able to train this brain similar to how we train bots for artificial intelligence. And you're going to, but here it's going to be decentralized. So I can train individual brains to be able to be DeFi agents, right? So I could actually have a trader, a Web3 trader that trades crypto for me. I would train that brain to trade automatically. And then I could also have digital assistants and chatbots. So similar to how we have chatbots in the Web2 world, but those chatbots are centralized. Now I can train my own chatbot, and then I can also train my own Web3 metaverse assistant using the brains that I have mined and I have trained. Okay, so you could say, how do you get one of these brains? Now you can actually purchase one of those brains on OpenSea, which we'll go to shortly. But one interesting thing that Altered State Machine did is referred to as genome mining. So with genome mining, you could actually lock up tokens. You could actually lock up tokens, right? And you would get airdrop these tokens by holding the original AI brain. So because we held a number of AI brains, we were able to claim tokens. And then because we claimed those tokens, we were able to go into this genome mining. And with this, I'm on the wrong thing, my fault, my apologies on that one. And because we were doing genome mining, we were able to collect what they refer to as ASTO energy. So in this cycle, in this cycle, I've generated 1.5 million Asto energy. And then I will be able to take that Asto energy to mine AI brains. Okay. In the last events, in the last genome mining event, you can see that there were a total of 15,000 brains that were mined. Because I locked up my tokens, I was able to mine 11 of these brains, right? Just by locking up my tokens. So I've picked up other brains throughout the this process, but with these 11 brains, so for example, I can go to OpenSea. And again, you can see I have more than 11 brains. So I can take all these brains and I can train these brains to do whatever I want to with them based on the use case, right? So I actually spoke with the founders of Altered State Machine, and I said, am I crazy where do you think I could actually train these brains to be professors to teach in my metaverse? And they said, Justin, that's not crazy, but it's going to take a year to train a brain on a certain topic. He said, it's possible, but it's going to take a long time to train that brain, just like how it takes artificial intelligence a long time to train on certain things. So that's the use case that we're looking to do with these brains within the Web3 world. And because I own the rights to that brain, I can essentially do whatever I want to with it because it's decentralized. Right now, if you look at that from a holistic perspective, you know, that is good and bad, because there's other people that may have other plans to use these brains. So that's one thing that we're researching within the Web3 space, where we're trying to say, although this is amazing and great, how do we think people will be trying to use these technologies for nefarious actions, right? So that's with artificial intelligence in general. But within Web3, there is amazing opportunities in that these are low barriers to entry, unlike within the other side meant with the Bored Ape Yacht Club lands. These are low barriers to entry because these Gen 2 brains are reasonable for people to get in and begin to train these brains for whatever interesting things they want to train them on. So if you see these other little critters here, these critters are the first use case that Altered State Machine is going to be testing out for the brains. So they're actually building out a game called AFA All Stars, where they're creating a football. In other parts of the world, football. In the US, we call it soccer. They're creating a soccer/football game where they're going to take each one of these brains, where they're going to put the brains in these all-stars, and then these all-stars are going to be trained to work together in a soccer game. And that's going to be the first use case for these brains. Okay. Another use case that was just announced yesterday, is called Fluff World Thingies. And with these spiders, it was just announced that each one of these spiders comes with a brain automatically. So it was announced that these, because they have an AI brain in them, and they've already been training these spiders behind the scenes, these spiders are going to be able to create artificial intelligence generated artwork. Okay. Now, because you hold one of these thingies, it creates artwork, which is an NFT. But because you own the rights to that spider that created that NFT, then you can sell the NFT that your spider created. So that's another use case in terms of how artificial intelligence is going to come into the Web3/metaverse world, because these thingies are going to be released into the Altered State Machine metaverse. So this is another metaverse called that Altered State Machine created, and you're going to be able to have thingies within this metaverse. The AFA All Stars will be having soccer games within this metaverse, and because you own the rights to these NFTs, if you want to rent out these NFTs to someone else that have time to play with these soccer players, then that's passive income in the Web3 space. So that is everything that I wanted to cover in terms of the metaverse. I hope that you've seen that the term metaverse is very broad, and it depends on who you speak with in it regarding what the definition of the metaverse is. You have these centralized metaverses such as Minecraft, such as Meta, formerly Facebook. You have the decentralized metaverses such as Illuvium, such as the Sandbox, such as Crypto Voxel, such as Altered State Machine metaverse. So you're going to see a number of different metaverses. I think that there is no one metaverse. And similar to social media, people will begin to pick and choose what their favorite metaverses is. Also, people will be participating in multiple metaverses. Now, in terms of opportunities, if you understand the differences in these metaverses, if you understand the utility of these metaverses, that is going to be an entry point into this Web3 world, because there's report after report that's coming out weekly in regards to organizations looking for people to educate executives as well as build within the metaverse. Hope that was helpful. Until next time.